How's everyone doing? Today I have a Blu-ray and DVD update with 5 pickups, and if you've seen any of them, definitely let me know what you think of them, and let me know what is your favorite pickup from this lot right here. First up is Survival of the Dead from George A. Romero. I know a lot of people hate this movie. It's not a perfect movie, but I like it, and I like it a lot more than most people seem to. And in fact, I'm going to do a video on my top 10 horror movies, or I should say what I'm going to probably title is Top 10 Hated Horror Movies That I Love. And this one's going to be on the list for sure. I paid a little bit more for this one because of the lenticular cover. It's hard to find. People usually want crazy money for the lenticular cover. The cheapest one I saw, I think, was like $30, and that was the Canadian one, or the French writing rather underneath. And I just didn't really want that on there. So paid a little bit more for this one, but the lenticular cover, and I do like this one. It's not a perfect movie. Again, one of the things that I had issues with were some of the CG effects didn't look great. It's a storyline that we've seen a bunch before. They try to do a little bit more. There's always social commentary behind his movies, especially his, Dead trilogy and the initial right there. But let me know what your favorite George A. Romero movie is. Let me know what your favorite zombie movie is. But this is definitely better than the Day of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, like all those kind of, or the remakes of those kind of ones. But yeah, this one, I think it picks up where Diary of the Dead leaves off and ties into there. And I like some of the characters in here. I like the actors in here. And I like what they're trying to do. I like when it's in a secluded place. The majority of it was on Plum Island. But yeah, I like this one. I know a lot of people don't, but I dig it. And a bunch of special features on here. And I like anything where there's features of George A. Romero talking about, his career, about the movies that he's worked on. So that was a plus. And I've actually held off picking this up for ages because I wanted to get this lenticular cover. And I finally picked it up. I love it. Great motion on there. A lot of lenticular covers don't have that great motion. This one does. But I know, is there anybody else out there who enjoys this one? I mean, it's way better than the Diary and then Day of the Dead remake. But I dig it. I'm unapologetic about it. It's not perfect film, but it's definitely better than a lot of other zombie movies out there, especially low-budget zombie movies. But next up is the Lone DVD, and I got this one partly because of I picked this particular one up rather for the slipcover, even though it has the Best Buy sticker. Hopefully it doesn't give any residual adhesive on there. But this is 6 films to keep you awake, and I got this basically for the one film here, A Christmas Tale. And these are all Spanish films, supposedly by great up-and-coming Spanish directors. And I heard that the Christmas Tale, tons of hype for that one for years now. It's supposed to be a great one, very creepy, and these all came out in 2008, so 10 years ago now. Wow. And so 6 films and 456 minutes total, so essentially some shorter films on here. But Christmas Tale, I heard, was super creepy, one of the better Christmas horror movies ever. So a lot of hype for it. Looking forward to finally checking that out. And from what I can remember, I remember seeing not even a trailer for it, but just seeing like still images. I think it's about these kids that come across this woman in the woods who's dressed up as Santa Claus. That's about as much as I know about it. But I'll go ahead and go over the films for you. They have really short synopsises on here. The movie Blame is Mommy Madness and Baby Murder. Highlight Blame. Not for anyone who's afraid of the dark. Next up is Spectre. Demon Lover or Wronged Woman. The answer lies in Spectre. Dun dun dun. A Real Friend, which is the next one, explores a child's imagination, half hallucination and all nightmare. Next up, A Christmas Tale. Features a voodoo victim who's dying to get even. I had no idea it involved voodoo. Now I'm looking forward to checking it out even more. Next up is In the Baby's Room. Or The Baby's Room. But it says, In the Baby's Room, a hidden door leads to an open and shut case of evil. Next up is To Let. And in To Let, an insane tenant makes her new neighbors live and die by her rules. So it looks like it's going to be some good ones in here. Definitely looking forward to checking them all out. But there's the discs in there. So 3 discs in total. This is the lone DVD of the bunch right here from these pickups. And it's a 3 DVD set, which I could have just read right there on the top, but didn't notice it initially. But if you've seen these ones, let me know what you think of. Let me know what your favorite Christmas horror movie is. There's been a bunch of great ones coming out recently too. I love the original Silent Night, Deadly Night. I would put Gremlins on there. That is it's a horror movie, horror comedy, but it's darker theme too. Phoebe Cates' father, that whole scene, sheesh. But I like Krampus. Yeah, there's a bunch of good ones. There was a Red Christmas, which was an Australian one. I liked it. A lot of people didn't. I liked it better than Better Watch Out. That's what it was. That was the one that was released through Welgo USA. It was on Netflix. I heard everybody just rave about it. Yeah, I thought Better Watch Out was a good movie. It just didn't quite live up to the hype. I felt it was overhyped. Everybody was just raving about it, recommending it to me, and I saw it. I was just like, eh. I mean, there were certain parts, right away I thought it was formulaic and a little too on the nose, and the kills weren't, there was one good kill, and they kind of turned away from it, and they could have done a lot more with that one big time, but people seem to love the heck out of it. Better Watch Out. That was the Christmas horror movie that seemed to be one of the more popular ones of recent years, especially last year. Next up is Public Enemies, and this is directed by Michael Mann. Let me know what your favorite Michael Mann movie is. He's done so many great films. Last Mohicans is my favorite. I believe he did The Keep too way back in the day, which needs a Blu-ray release. Manhunter, which is my favorite of the Hannibal Lecter movies. Would highly recommend that one. I would definitely take it over Red Dragon, you know, Silence of the Lambs even. But he also did Heat. He did tons of great films. So yeah, a great director for sure. But I haven't seen this one in a while. I got this one for cheap. I remember seeing it back in the day now. I mean, not too long ago, but a couple of years ago, I guess. Not quite back in the day. Kind of overused that one. I'm trying to remember when this one actually came out. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes long. Don't see the year on this one on the back. I was hoping to see the year, but I want to say it's like, oh wait, it says 2009. I didn't realize it was that old actually. So 9 years old. I thought maybe like 5 years, but yeah, Johnny Depp is starring here as John Dillinger. I really like the actress in here, Marion Cotillard. She's really good. I enjoyed her in the things that I've seen her in. She was in the one with Brad Pitt's kind of a espionage war movie too. But the one thing I'll say about this, I like John Milius's Dillinger with Warren Oates, Richard Dreyfuss. That whole cast was great. That was one of the things. Christian Bale's in this one too. Christian Bale, phenomenal actor, great as Patrick Bateman in American Psycho. And The Machinist, really kind of an underrated movie for him, but one of my favorites. He's been around since, you know, child actor. But The Machinist, the transformation that he did with his body in that one, just shocking, and just a phenomenal performance too. The Machinist is the only movie that after it ended, it took me 5 minutes to like think about it and figure it out, and then I was like, oh my gosh, it just blew me away even more. Most movies I find to be very formulaic. There's been movies where I've been able to figure out the twist just from like the trailer. So that was like the only movie that made me actually like think afterwards and try to like figure it out, and then I did, and that was like made it even better to me. But I digress. But yeah, John Milius was a great writer. He wrote tons of Apocalypse Now, Conan. He directed Conan too, I believe. But great writer, and his one Dillinger, which has a Arrow Video Blu-ray release, much better than Public Enemies in my opinion. This one is flashier, lots of you know, flashy shootout scenes, but that's really about it. I think Johnny Depp definitely carries the movie. The cast was the best thing about Dillinger. Everybody, that was you felt connected to the characters. You really felt kind of detached here from the characters. That's one of the things from John Milius's Dillinger, Warren Oates, and that whole cast. The cast was just phenomenal. Their cast interaction, everything felt more authentic, and you felt connected to the characters, and they felt interconnected. You just didn't get that here, but I am looking forward to revisiting it. I still think it was a good movie, just not quite as good as Dillinger. But yeah, it's basically, you know, during that Wild West time, and you know, J. Edgar Hoover in here. I thought they were going to play up a little bit more of that aspect. It was a Guy Pearce, I believe. I'm trying to remember. I don't think they probably even have it on here. Billy Crudup was good in here. Stephen Lang, Stephen Dorff. Yeah, I don't see. There's other people that are in here too. That a good cast in here, but not quite as good as Dillinger for me. As far as how well they work together, this one just, it felt like they were going through the motions in certain scenes. But yeah, it's basically the FBI doing their first like task force and taking down Public Enemy #1 and, you know, all the different bank robbers and things like that. Pretty Boy Floyd, Babyface, you know, John Dillinger, all the different ones, but interesting stuff. And it's still a good movie, and I'm not trying to put it down, just not quite as good as Melissa's Dillinger. And next up is Cyanide and Happiness Season 1, and this is actually autographed. You can only get this autographed version, as far as I'm aware of, through the Kickstarter, and you had to pledge $100 to get it. They had all kinds of different backers for making this season and stuff. I think they ended up getting close to $1 million on their Kickstarter campaign. I think they were only asking for like $250,000. But if you were part, they had different levels for the Kickstarter campaign. But at the $100 level, you got the autographed one. And I can tell that they don't really autograph, you know, as far as movies and stuff like that, because it's actually on the plastic part instead of the inside interior liner of the Blu-ray, which is how it's supposed to be autographed. So it's on the Blu-ray case itself. So there you go. The people involved with Cyanide and Happiness right there. Absolutely hilarious. Explosum.net. You can check them out on YouTube. But it's just ridiculous, gross humor, crude humor, non-PC to the max. I love it. And I remember on Amazon, people were asking like ridiculous money for just the Blu-ray, like $70, $100. I think there's only a couple on there. But I ended up picking this up on eBay for dirt cheap, and I've never seen anybody actually selling the one that was autographed. So even the ones that were, I remember seeing it go on eBay before for like $45, $30 around there. So, you know, the Amazon ones are a little bit more jacked up, but again, I've never seen the one anybody selling the autographed version, and you had to be $100 for the Kickstarter for it. So I imagine people want crazy money for this, but it's weird to see the differential between the Amazon prices and eBay prices. I think eBay prices are a little bit truer to form, but I think Amazon is actually better for protection for the buyer. The web series is hilarious. The comics are hilarious. You know, I remember seeing this on you know, online for years, checking out I would always go back and look at them and see go back to all the older ones, and I love it. I love the webisodes and stuff like that too. You got bonus features with commentary by the creators, Chris, Dave, and Rob. You've got deleted scenes, alternate cuts, never before seen shorts, all kinds of secrets to everlasting life. But yeah, very souped to have picked this up. It's a 2-disc set right there. It's long sold out now too. They are selling it on Explosum.net. And again, the Kickstarter was the only way to get the autographed version. So very happy to have picked this up for the price point that I did. I think I ended up getting for $7. So, and it's the signed ones, again, I've never seen it go for sale, but a lot of times people will put crazy price tags on this. Again, I remember the lowest I ever saw it go for was $30 before, just the unsigned version. I've never seen a signed version for sale again, like I said many times already. But yeah, $30, $45, it usually is around the price point that I see it selling for. But again, crazy that I looked up on Amazon. I was like, what? And I ended up looking, that prompted me to look up on eBay, because I remember I was looking for this for a while. So happy to get that for sure. Let me know if you've seen Cyanide and Happiness, if you have any favorite ones of them too. Next up is Shut In. And as far as I know, this isn't a remake, but it feels like an American remake to me. And this is directed by Farron Blackburn, who was one of the 2 directors on the TV show The Fades, a BBC TV show, which was phenomenal and deserved more than 1 season. It was kind of a cliffhanger, left you, you know, set up for a 2nd season. It should have had a 2nd season. The Fades, I highly recommend the heck out of that TV show, a BBC TV show. Horror themed paranormal TV show, and it was actually Daniel Kaluuya from Get Out starred in that as well. Not sure, that was one of his earliest ones. I'm not sure if that was his first role or not, but he was in there too as the best friend, and really good show. I think it was only 6 episodes, and I'm pretty sure that Farron Blackburn directed 3 of them, so essentially half the show. So yeah, highly recommend The Fades. Deserved way more love. I would love to see that. That could get a movie adaptation as well. So the director is pretty good with dealing with that kind of, you know, thrilling, tense kind of theme going on, which worked here too in Shut In. But let me know, am I the only person who has seen the TV show The Fades? I've never heard anybody talk about that one, and I felt it was super underrated. Let me know if you've seen or heard of The Fades. Again, I loved the snowy setting right there, and I was happy to get this with the slipcover. Oliver Platt's in here, Naomi Watts, trying to remember who else, Charlie Heaton, who's from Stranger Things, and then Jacob Tremblay, who is Wonder, The Room, good young child actor. Actually, I liked him really. He didn't speak too much. He had some emotional problems in here, but I liked him in this role. I thought it was kind of predictable, but I still liked it. It had some good atmosphere and suspense. I think they could have done a little bit more with it. But it's in like an isolated region somewhere. Is it Maine? I think it might be Maine. But she's in this you know, snowy house, and there's a big snowstorm coming. She's trapped in there, and her son was in a car accident that killed her husband, and he's left paralyzed. And she's a like a psychiatrist, and she has like a little office off to the side of the house, and she deals with like kids and stuff like that. And Oliver Platt is her like therapist, and they do like Skype calls and stuff like that for therapy. And yeah, so one night when there's a storm, crazy things start happening. Oh, and before that, the kid goes missing. That kid, and she sees him, and that's one of the things that bothered me big time about this. He like lashes out big. He like hits her at one point, and then another part he sees the kid in her car, and then the kid like breaks a window, and she doesn't do anything or say anything about those things. I'm like, get the F out of here, you little monster. But it was like, that blows me away. It's like, you have to have some kind of, you know, discipline for those kind of reactions. You can't just break a car window, and she just said nothing about that. Crazy to me. But yeah, there are certain things that just kind of didn't feel as authentic, and again, I thought it was formulaic. Still decent though, it had some good suspense atmosphere to it, and I love the snowy setting. The creepy house aspect worked well. But again, Naomi Watts is pretty stunning actually. And it's funny because Michael Haneke did Funny Games, but he also directed the original and the remake, and Naomi Watts was in the remake of that too. And she's been tied up and tortured in a few different movies, I believe, in, you know, Funny Games, but this one too, she's, you know, there's a part where she's tied up. I think it was good, but could have been better. But happy to have picked that one up. And so there we go. There are the 5 pickups right here. If you've seen any of them, definitely let me know what you think of them. And yeah, let me know what your favorite George A. Romero movie is, your favorite zombie movie. What's your favorite lenticular slipcover that you have? Favorite Spanish horror movie? Favorite Christmas horror movie? Favorite gangster kind of movie? Bank robber kind of movie? Michael Mann, of course, you know, you could put bunch of his Heat in there for sure. Great bank heist movie. If you checked out Cyanide And Happiness, I guess anyone where you're trapped in a house kind of thing, stuff like that. There's a bunch of different horror movies like that. But there you go. Let me know about all of those things. If you've seen them, what was your favorite? All the questions. Leave me a comment or a video response down below. Hope everybody's doing well. Take care.